Have you ever wondered why your mind feels tired, distracted, or overwhelmed even after a good rest? Many of us struggle with mental fatigue and stress, but often we don't realize that certain daily habits quietly weaken our mind's strength and clarity. These habits create unnecessary noise and block our inner peace. The good news is that Buddhist wisdom offers simple, powerful ways to recognize and let go of these habits, helping us restore calm, focus, and resilience in our minds. Understand how frustrating it can be to feel stuck in a cycle of mental fog and worry. You're not alone, and the path to a stronger mind is within reach. In this video, I'll share 10 important habits that may be weakening your mind and how to overcome them with timeless Buddhist teachings. Stay with me until the end to fully discover these life-changing lessons and start cultivating a peaceful, clear mind today. Habit 1. Having a negative mindset. Having a negative mindset is one of the greatest obstacles that weaken the mind. When we constantly focus on what is wrong, what we lack, or what might go wrong, our mental energy becomes trapped in a cycle of suffering and limitation. This negativity clouds our perception and reduces our ability to see clearly or act with calmness and wisdom. The problem with a negative mindset is that it pulls us away from the present moment and roots us in fear, doubt, and dissatisfaction. It feeds on every small difficulty and magnifies it, making the world appear harsh and unforgiving. This creates mental tension and restless thoughts that disturb our peace. Buddhist teachings remind us that the mind is like water. When disturbed, it becomes muddy and unclear, but when calm, it reflects everything as it truly is. The Buddha taught that our suffering often arises not from external events, but from how we react to them. By recognizing negative thoughts as passing clouds rather than fixed realities, we begin to free ourselves from their grip. The solution is to cultivate mindfulness and awareness of our thoughts, gently turning away from negativity and returning to the simplicity of the present moment. This is not about forcing positivity, but about letting go of harmful mental patterns and opening space for clarity and kindness within. Each moment offers an opportunity to choose peace over disturbance. There is a famous Zen story about a monk who was asked, "What is the secret of happiness?" The monk replied, "Do not carry yesterday's burden in today's basket." This teaches us to release negative thoughts and regrets that weigh us down and to meet each moment fresh and light. Practically, start by noticing when your mind falls into negativity without judgment. Simply observe these thoughts as passing sensations, like clouds drifting across the sky. Then gently bring your attention back to your breath or the task at hand. Practice gratitude for even the smallest things, a warm cup of tea, the air you breathe. Over time, this mindful approach weakens the power of negative thinking and strengthens the mind's natural clarity. In learning to loosen the grip of negativity, you nurture a mind that is peaceful, resilient, and open, ready to face life with quiet strength. Habit number 2. Complaining about things outside your control. Complaining about things outside your control weakens the mind by trapping it in frustration and helplessness. When we fixate on what cannot be changed and voice endless complaints, our energy is wasted on resistance rather than acceptance. This habit drains peace and deepens a sense of suffering. The problem with complaining is that it keeps us focused on obstacles, magnifying our dissatisfaction and preventing us from finding calm or clarity. Instead of seeing what is possible, the mind becomes stuck in blame and resistance, creating mental turbulence where peace could otherwise reside. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering arises when we cling to control over things that are impermanent and beyond our power. The Buddha encouraged mindful acceptance of reality, understanding that change is constant and that peace comes not from controlling the world, but from mastering our response to it. Letting go of futile complaints opens the door to equanimity. The solution is to practice awareness of when the mind begins to complain and to gently shift toward acceptance and presence. This does not mean passivity, but rather a wise recognition of what can be influenced and what must be released. Acceptance creates space for calm action instead of wasted energy on resistance. There is a Zen story of a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors lamented the loss, but the farmer calmly said, "Maybe so, maybe not." Later, the horse returned with a wild companion, and the neighbors praised his good fortune, yet the farmer again said, "Maybe so, maybe not." This continues through gains and losses, teaching that clinging to judgments about what is good or bad leads only to suffering. To practice this in daily life, notice when complaints arise and ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, remind yourself to release resistance and accept the present moment. Focus on what you can influence, your thoughts, actions, and attitude. When frustration builds, return to your breath and center yourself in the calm of now. This mindful choice frees the mind from unnecessary struggle. By learning to let go of complaints about what is outside your control, you cultivate a mind that is serene and grounded, able to face life's changes with quiet strength. Habit number 3. Not expressing yourself. Not expressing yourself weakens the mind by creating inner tension and disconnect. When you hold back your thoughts, feelings, or needs, a quiet resistance builds inside, clouding clarity and disturbing your peace. This silence can lead to confusion and resentment, weakening your connection with both yourself and others. The problem lies in the unspoken energy trapped within, which disturbs the mind like waves crashing against a shore. Suppressing your true voice causes mental unrest, limiting your ability to live authentically and peacefully. Over time, this silence becomes a barrier that dulls your inner strength. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of honesty and mindful communication, not only with others but also with oneself. The path to awakening includes recognizing and expressing what is real in the present moment with kindness and clarity. Speaking truthfully frees the mind from confusion and allows compassion to flow. The solution is to cultivate mindful expression, sharing your thoughts and feelings gently but honestly, without fear or aggression. This does not mean speaking at every impulse, but rather nurturing the courage to express what matters, releasing the energy held inside and restoring balance within. There is a Zen story of a master who asked a student, "What is your true nature?" The student remained silent. The master said, "Your silence speaks more than words ever could." This teaches that expression is not only about speaking loudly, but about the truth carried in presence. Yet when silence hides what burdens the heart, it must be met with gentle, honest voice. In practice, begin by observing where you hold back your feelings or thoughts. When safe, try expressing them quietly and clearly, whether in journaling, conversation, or meditation. Notice the relief that follows when you no longer carry silence as a weight. Remember, mindful expression nourishes the mind and deepens your connection to life and others. By learning to express yourself with honesty and kindness, you strengthen a mind that is clear, peaceful, and free to be fully alive. Habit 4. Blaming others for your problems. Blaming others for your problems weakens the mind by giving away your power and keeping you trapped in helplessness. When you focus on faulting others for your difficulties, you lose sight of your own ability to respond and grow. This habit fuels anger and resentment, clouding your mind with distraction and suffering. The problem with blaming is that it prevents honest self-reflection and the chance to learn from life's challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as opportunities for growth, the mind becomes stuck in a victim mindset, caught in a loop of frustration and stagnation. This cycle weakens mental clarity and peace. Buddhist wisdom teaches that while we cannot always control external events or others' actions, we can always choose how to respond. The path to liberation comes from taking responsibility for our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Recognizing this personal power allows the mind to move beyond blame and find true freedom. The solution is to cultivate awareness of when blaming arises and to gently shift focus inward, seeking understanding, rather than fault. This means embracing the practice of mindfulness and compassion toward oneself and others. By taking responsibility, you empower your mind to learn, heal, and grow with wisdom. There is a Zen story of a man who blamed the world for his misfortune. A wise master told him, "The arrow that wounds you is held in your own hand." This teaches that blaming others only tightens the grip of suffering. True freedom comes when you release that arrow and take ownership of your own peace. In daily life, when you feel the urge to blame, pause and breathe. Ask yourself what lesson or insight this situation offers you. Practice turning the mind inward with kindness instead of outward with judgment. This shift weakens the habit of blame and strengthens your inner calm and resilience. By learning to release blame and embrace responsibility, you cultivate a mind that is empowered, clear, and free from unnecessary suffering. Habit 5. Fantasizing. Instead of visualizing. Fantasizing instead of visualizing weakens the mind by scattering its energy in dreams that lack grounding in reality. When we get lost in wishful thinking or unrealistic scenarios, the mind drifts away from the present moment, becoming restless and unfocused. This habit creates frustration and disappointment because it builds hopes without clear intention or effort. The problem with fantasizing is that it confuses imagination with purposeful action. Instead of seeing life as it is and working skillfully toward goals, the mind clings to illusions that cannot be realized without grounded effort. This disconnect between desire and reality weakens mental clarity and drains motivation. Buddhist teachings remind us that true transformation arises from clear awareness and mindful intention. Visualization, unlike fantasy, involves focusing the mind on positive, achievable outcomes while remaining fully present. It is a practice of aligning thoughts with reality and taking deliberate steps forward with calm confidence. The solution is to shift from aimless daydreaming to mindful visualization, creating clear, purposeful images that inspire action rather than escape. This means cultivating a strong, present-centered awareness while gently guiding the mind toward practical possibilities. Visualization becomes a tool for clarity, not illusion. There is a Zen story of a student who asked the master how to reach enlightenment. The master replied, "Do not chase shadows on the wall. Instead, see the path before you clearly, and step with each foot as it lands." This teaches that real progress comes from clear, mindful steps, not from chasing distant fantasies. In practice, notice when your mind wanders into fantasies and gently bring it back to the present moment. Use visualization to clearly imagine the actions you can take and the qualities you want to develop. Combine this with steady effort, patience, and acceptance of what unfolds. This mindful approach nurtures a focused, resilient mind. By learning to replace fantasy with mindful visualization, you strengthen a mind that is grounded, purposeful, and fully alive in the present. Habit 6. Not making time for personal relationships. Neglecting to make time for personal relationships weakens the mind by isolating it and cutting off the natural flow of connection and support. When we prioritize distractions or busyness over meaningful interaction, the mind becomes closed off, lonely, and restless. This isolation dims our sense of belonging and weakens emotional resilience. The problem is that in ignoring the needs of our relationships, we unknowingly deepen a sense of separation from others and ourselves. Without genuine connection, the mind grows fragile, burdened by unexpressed feelings and unmet needs. This loneliness clouds clarity and dims the heart's natural warmth. Buddhist wisdom teaches that all beings are interconnected like waves in the ocean, and true peace arises from harmony within this web of relationships. compassion, and presence. In our interactions, nourish the mind and spirit. The Buddha showed that loving kindness and friendship are essential for the path to awakening. The solution is to consciously make space for relationships, to listen deeply, offer kindness, and be present with others. This means stepping away from distractions and cultivating genuine connection, which replenishes the mind's energy and fosters peace. Healthy relationships act as mirrors, reflecting back our own nature and supporting growth. There is a Zen story of two monks walking together. One asked the other, "What is the secret to peace?" The other replied, "In every step, listen not only to your own breath, but also to the breath of the world around you." This teaches that we find calm by opening ourselves to the presence and rhythms of others. In daily life, take time to reach out, truly listen, and share your presence with family, friends, or even strangers. Put away distractions and be fully there. Notice how these moments of connection ease your mind and open your heart. By nurturing relationships, you cultivate a mind that is strong, peaceful, and deeply alive. Habit 7. Letting your emotions rule you. Letting your emotions rule you weakens the mind by stirring unrest and clouding clear judgment. When emotions take control, the mind becomes reactive and turbulent like a storm tossing a fragile boat. This loss of balance disturbs inner peace and limits the ability to respond wisely to life's challenges. The problem with being ruled by emotions is that it leads to impulsive actions, regret, and a restless mind caught in cycles of craving and aversion. Instead of observing feelings with calm awareness, the mind becomes overwhelmed, losing its natural clarity and strength. Buddhist wisdom teaches that emotions are natural but not masters to obey. The practice is to recognize emotions as passing phenomena, like clouds drifting across the sky, without clinging or pushing them away. Mindfulness allows us to meet emotions with gentle attention, transforming reactivity into wisdom. The solution lies in cultivating awareness and balance, watching emotions without judgment, and choosing how to act rather than reacting automatically. This mindful presence creates space between feeling and response, allowing the mind to remain calm and centered even amidst strong emotions. There is a Zen story of a monk who was asked how he stayed so peaceful despite the hardships around him. He replied, "I do not let the waves pull me under. I float above them." This teaches that by not being swept away by emotions, we maintain a steady mind that can navigate life's storms. In practice, when you notice strong emotions arising, pause and take a deep breath. Observe the feeling without resistance or identification. Name it silently, like anger or fear, and allow it to be without feeding it. Return gently to your breath or present moment awareness. Over time, this practice weakens emotional reactivity and strengthens inner calm. By learning not to let your emotions rule you, you nurture a mind that is steady, clear, and free, able to meet life with quiet strength and wisdom. Habit 8. Trying to control everything. Trying to control everything weakens the mind by creating tension and resistance against the natural flow of life. When we cling tightly to control, expecting everything to go according to our plans, the mind becomes rigid, anxious, and restless. This grasping causes suffering because life is inherently unpredictable and ever-changing. The problem with trying to control everything is that it blinds us to the reality of impermanence. Our efforts to force outcomes lead only to frustration, when things inevitably shift beyond our grasp. This habit drains mental energy and blocks the calm acceptance that allows true strength to arise. Buddhist wisdom teaches the principle of non-attachment and the acceptance of change. The Buddha encouraged embracing life as it unfolds, flowing with its rhythms rather than resisting them. True power lies not in forcing control, but in cultivating flexibility, awareness, and peace amidst uncertainty. The solution is to practice, letting go of the need to control every detail and to trust in the natural unfolding of events. This does not mean passivity, but rather mindful engagement without grasping or aversion. By releasing control, the mind becomes more spacious, calm, and resilient. There is a Zen story of a man carrying a heavy load who met a river he could not cross. Struggling to force his way, he became exhausted. Then he relaxed, letting the current carry him gently to the other shore. This teaches that surrender to the flow brings ease and clarity where control only breeds struggle. In daily life, notice where you tighten your grip on situations or outcomes. Practice releasing that tension by breathing deeply and reminding yourself that not all is within your hands. Focus instead on your attitude and actions in the present moment. Trust that by flowing with life rather than fighting it, your mind will find greater peace and strength. By learning to let go of trying to control everything, you cultivate a mind that is flexible, calm, and deeply free, able to meet life's changes with ease and wisdom. Habit 9. Dwelling on the past. Dwelling on the past weakens the mind by anchoring it in memories and regrets that no longer serve the present. When we cling to what has already happened, whether mistakes, losses, or joys, the mind becomes stuck, unable to fully embrace the here and now. This fixation drains mental energy and clouds clarity. The problem with living in the past is that it keeps us trapped in a story that is no longer real, preventing growth and peace. We replay moments with longing or regret, losing sight of the fresh possibilities each new moment offers. This mental habit creates suffering through attachment to what cannot be changed. Buddhist wisdom teaches the truth of impermanence, that all things arise, change, and pass away. The Buddha encouraged releasing attachment to the past and embracing the present moment as the only place where life truly unfolds. Freedom comes from seeing clearly that the past is gone and cannot bind us. The solution is to practice mindful awareness that gently brings the mind back from past memories to the present breath and experience. This does not mean ignoring lessons from the past, but freeing the mind from unnecessary rumination. Acceptance of what has been opens the door to peace and renewed clarity. There is a Zen story of a man carrying a heavy sack filled with stones from his past. When asked why he carried it, he said, "Because it reminds me of what I have lost." The master replied, "Put down the sack and walk freely. The stones cannot help you now." This teaches that releasing the past lightens the mind and opens the way forward. In daily life, when you notice your mind drifting to past events, gently return your focus to the present moment. Feel your breath, notice your surroundings, and engage fully with now. Allow memories to pass like clouds without clinging. Over time, this practice loosens the grip of the past and strengthens the mind's freedom. By learning to let go of dwelling on the past, you cultivate a mind that is peaceful, awake, and open, ready to live fully in the present moment. Habit 10. Worrying about what others say and do. Worrying about what others say and do weakens the mind by anchoring it in fear and distraction. When we constantly seek approval or fear judgment, our attention fractures and our inner peace becomes fragile. This habit makes the mind restless, dependent on external opinions rather than its own clarity and strength. The problem with worrying about others is that it pulls us away from our true nature and the present moment. We lose ourselves in imagining what others think or might do, creating unnecessary anxiety and self-doubt. This external focus weakens the mind's ability to be steady and free. Buddhist wisdom teaches the importance of turning inward to find strength and peace. The Buddha reminded us that true happiness and confidence arise from understanding our own mind, not from the shifting judgments of others. Freedom comes when we release attachment to others' opinions and rest in our own clear awareness. The solution is to cultivate self-trust and mindfulness, observing when worries about others arise and gently letting them go. This means recognizing that others' words and actions are beyond our control and do not define our worth. By rooting the mind in the present and in self-acceptance, we find calm and resilience. There is a Zen story of a master who was criticized harshly by villagers. When asked how he felt, he replied, "When the wind blows, the trees bend, but the roots remain steady." This teaches that external opinions may sway us, but our inner foundation remains strong when grounded in wisdom. In practice, when worries about what others think appear, pause and breathe. Acknowledge the thought, then gently return your focus to your breath or to the present moment. Remind yourself that your value is not defined by others and that true peace arises from within. Over time, this practice weakens the power of external judgments and strengthens your inner calm. By learning not to worry about what others say and do, you nurture a mind that is free, steady, and rooted in its own quiet strength. Our minds are precious, like clear water reflecting the sky, and yet they can easily become clouded by habits that drain their strength and clarity. Each of these 10 habits, from negativity and blame to dwelling on the past and worrying about others, creates barriers between us and the peace we seek. Buddhist wisdom invites us to gently notice these patterns, not with judgment, but with compassionate awareness. In this awareness lies the power to loosen their hold and return to a mind that is calm, clear, and resilient. By practicing mindful presence, acceptance, and wise intention, we begin to transform weakness into strength. Step by step, moment by moment, the mind can awaken to its natural freedom and peace. Remember, this path is not about perfection, but about returning again and again to the simplicity of now, with patience and kindness for yourself. May these teachings guide you toward a mind that is peaceful, strong, and fully alive.